Welcome back to JB Reviews. I have a 2024 Ram 3500 and 2024 GMC Sierra 3500. This is a Bighorn and this is going to be the SLT. Now I know some people are going to say in the comment section this isn't fair because the Bighorn probably does compete with the SLE, but at the end of this video I'm going to show you guys why I think the Bighorn kind of competes with both. Special shout out to Larry H. Miller, Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram here in Sandy, Utah, and Jerry Seiner, Buick GMC here in South Jordan, Utah. If you are in the market, be sure to check out these dealerships. I have their stuff in the description. Let's go ahead and get into the video. Before we get started, I want to show you guys the window stickers. As far as the base price goes, it's right here at $65,700. And this truck doesn't have a lot of options on it, but a lot of things do come a part of this SLT convenience package, like bucket seats. It has the Bose sound system, ventilated front seat. So there's a lot of great stuff that comes in this package. And total MSRP is right here at $83,360. As far as the Ram goes, base price is at $60,290. So again, it's a lot cheaper. And this one does not have a lot of options on it. And again, they didn't have a lot of selection at the Ram store. So this is what I had to work with here. So when you include destination, you have a total price of $76,755. Now the good thing about the Ram is a lot of things are available with the Bighorn. However, you can really make this truck more expensive than this truck over here. Now on the front of this truck, halogen headlights do come standard, incandescent turn signals. There is no forward facing camera, no fog lights, tow hooks down below. But I will say, this truck does have a nice rugged appearance. And when you move over to the GMC, well, the GMC has standard LED headlights. This truck does have an optional forward-facing camera, so it does have 360 camera view. Parking sensors are down below, and it has LED fog lights. Now, the headlights come standard on this side. If you would like to get LED reflective style headlights, you will have to spend about anywhere between $5,000 and $7,000 to $8,000. So again, it does drive the price up significantly. Now let's go ahead and pop the hoods of these trucks. I want to go ahead and talk about the diesel options on these trucks. Even though I am a Cummins fanboy, I really should say I'm an inline six diesel fanboy. You can't beat this new Duramax. Like, this engine was updated. It has great low end torque, 470 horsepower, 975 pound-feet of torque, 10-speed transmission, Denso fuel pump. This is probably as good as the PowerStroke. Now you guys can now determine that I am a Cummins diesel fanboy. I really am. I do like this design, but I will say that Duramax over there is pretty good too. This engine is down on horsepower compared to that one, 420 horsepower. However, 1,075 pound-feet of torque. This engine is just a tow pig. I love the Eisen transmission. If you do a lot of towing, a lot of hauling, that's what the Bighorn is set up for. You're not really looking for a lot of frills in this truck. However, unloaded, this truck is a little bit harder to live with personally. Even driving it over here, I mean, there's a lot of torque management. I don't even think it's turbo lag. I just think that this engine, it has great power delivery, but the transmission, when it's not under load, just does not perform well. But I will say that 6-speed is a good configuration for people who tow a lot and long distance. Now, I don't think I've told you guys yet, this GMC is about $6,605 more. Maybe I've said it earlier, but I want to make sure I made that point before I go down the side of these trucks. Now, one thing I love about GM pickups is they give you Michelin tires. These are LT 275/70 18s. And I would venture to say these are going to wear well. I haven't heard any negatives from Michelin tires. Most people will even change off other brand tires that I think are pretty good for these. Now, as far as the capacities go, it's right here, 3,640 pounds at 80 psi. Ram over here is still using Firestone Transforce tires. Now, I will say, on a tradesman Bighorn, on these types of wheels, I'm not gonna make a big fuss, but LT 275/70 18 is the tire size, and 3,640 pounds of capacity at 80 psi. Solid front axle, which is my favorite, independent front suspension, It depends on what you're looking for. Some people care, some people don't. You do have 360 camera, as I mentioned. On this truck, it is available. I think it's actually optional on the GMC, if you guys remember looking at the window sticker. But the beds are both 8 foot. However, the GMC looks a little bit further back, but I think the cab size on the GMC is a little bit bigger. So if I were to pull the truck up just a hair, they're both 8 foot beds and they're about the same size. Now, let's take a look at the suspension. GMC does have 5 leafs in that main pack, 2 overloads. I like that. I think this is an overbuilt suspension, and this truck rides pretty good, all things considered, especially when you look at the Ram suspension, which only gives you these 4 leafs in that main pack. There are no overloads to speak of. However, you do have an optional air suspension, which does help the ride, and it does adjust automatically for you. But if I were looking for a truck right now, I would want it to have air suspension. This one doesn't have it, and it's $1,705, so it does make that price a lot more expensive. So yeah, my money goes here. 342 rear end, 373 on the single rear wheel Ram trucks. If you get a dually, you can get a 410. However, with GM, they do not allow you to have that 410, which I don't know why. I mean, don't get me wrong, I know people are going to argue in the comment section about this. The 342 with the 10-speed transmission on this truck is great, and even with my truck, I have a dually that has 37s. I don't really feel a loss of power, especially down low. But this truck does have the parking sensors out back. The Ram is available with these parking sensors. Now, one advantage for the Ram is you do have LED license plates lights. On the GMC, they do not. However, you do have standard LED tail lights. They look great. Ram has incandescent. By the way, as far as fuel tank goes, the standard fuel tank on this long bed is 32 gallons, 5.7 DEF. GM has a 36 gallon tank standard, 7 gallon DEF. Now, Ram's advantage is they do have a 50 gallon fuel tank option for the long bed trucks. GM does not have that. Now let's go ahead and finish off on the interior. Listen, this truck does have a lot of options on it. So I'm not saying that this truck is way better, like this center console is optional, Bose is optional. So yeah, the seat is 10-way. You do have a telescoping steering wheel. This screen is standard, and that 13.4-inch display is standard too. So stepping in, they do give you a grab handle. I think that when it's all said and done, a lot of people are gonna look at the Ram and be like, y'all need to do something real fast because it's starting to hurt. And these trucks are not that much different in price. So, as I mentioned, I do like how you can customize this entire screen. The 13.4-inch display is really easy to use. And I love that they give you the split screen so you can have different information showing like your audio. You can have your maps up over here. And just everything is laid out perfectly. Love the storage you get down below. And here's the center console. Let's go ahead and check out the door on that Ram. Keep in mind, this truck does have the seat memories too. Now, as far as the door card goes, it does have soft touch with some stitching, power windows, power door locks, and the convex is powered. Now, they do add a nice flare to this when you go from the tradesman to this one. But if I'm being honest though, yeah, there's no comparison. You cannot get leather seats on a Bighorn. You have to move up to a Laramie, which is more money. And yeah, things just get really expensive with these Ram trucks. Like this truck's only $6,000 less. But once you add all the features that this truck has, it would probably be more money, which I'm going to probably show you guys at some point in this video. But let's go ahead and start it up. You cannot get a digital cluster on the Rams, on Bighorns, Tradesmen's, and Laramie. So with the GMC, you can get it on the SLE all the way up to the Ultimate, obviously. That 13.4 on that GMC is standard too. This guy, wow, that's just, my camera was looking for the screen just now, like it was like blurred out. Like, what is this? Is this like a 3.5 or 5-inch screen? It's tiny. You do still have backup camera, but you don't have dual climate control, you don't have heated seats. There's just so many things missing on this build. But again, all that stuff's available. You can also get the 12-inch display, but it just adds so much money to the bottom line. You have open storage right here, and this does have the 6-passenger configuration. RAM is class leading with the USBs. I do like that they give you so many, but there's no storage below this seat. Now if you get the 6-passenger with the GMC, they do give that to you pretty much standard. They use incandescent lights too on the Rams. GMC does have LED. I do like that Ram gives you this power plug. This is very useful. Ford nor GM give that to you, and let's face it, where Ram's gonna win at, if you're doing a lot of heavy towing, their exhaust brake is the best. No one can touch it. And I do like, despite the screen being a little bit smaller, I do like the fact that Ram gives you all this great information. Like, this is something that GM does not have, and this is very useful. And they also give you this too, exhaust brake. GM doesn't give that to you. It allows you to know where that DPF is in terms of how much soot's getting built up in a diesel particulate filter. So yeah, they both have their advantages. Let's take a look at the Payload, and I'll show you guys the pricing of a Ram very similar to this GMC, and then I'll pretty much end the video. So here are the numbers for the GMC. Gross axle weight rating is going to be 6,000 pounds. The rear is going to be 7,250, and a 12,250 gross vehicle weight rating. So they do increase that 150 pounds compared to the standard bed configuration. Now, as far as the Payload goes, 3,829 pounds. That is pretty good for a loaded up SLT. And if you want to see that yellow sticker right there, 3,828 pounds. They also show you all the towing numbers, the gross combined, which is 30,000. Ford nor Ram do this. Now this Ram has a lot less features, so it should have more payload, right? We'll see in a second. So the gross axle weight rating on this truck, 6,000, so it does match the GMC. However, they do have a lower gross axle in the rear, 7,000. Gross vehicle weight rating is a little bit higher, 12.3, so it's 11.8 with the standard bed, so they do go up significantly. And yeah, this truck has a lot of payload. 4,305 pounds of payload capacity, but that's what you would expect because this truck doesn't have a lot of options. So yeah, when you add up all the stuff on this truck, including the running boards, spray and bed liner, fifth wheel prep package, all that stuff's going to really take away from the payload. And this truck does have the fifth wheel prep package, however, but doesn't have the 50-gallon fuel tank. And this truck does have the Eisen transmission, which means it is going to be a little bit less payload compared to a standard output, because that transmission is like 300 pounds to about 200 pounds heavier. I believe the truck has the high output, right? Yep, it does. So yeah, there you have it. Now I'm going to show you guys a similar Ram, but keep in mind with the Bighorn, you cannot get leather seats. For the sake of time, I just wanted to show you guys a quick spreadsheet of everything that's included. So I added basically $24,000 worth of options. That 6.7 Cummins is about half of that. So two things I want to point out: tech package and level 2 equipment group. Let's go ahead and take a quick peek at those options here under the packages. So level 2 equipment group gives you a lot of nice features here, and if you want to get LED lighting, you have to get this package. So the tech package is right here, and look what comes in here. So you get the LED reflective style headlights, surround view camera, and the 9-speaker Alpine. So instead of me clicking the $795 option here, I decided to click the tech package instead. So this truck is $87,235, which is basically what? Like, what's that? $4,000 more than the GMC. And keep in mind that GMC had ventilated front seats, leather. Also, it has the digital cluster and a few other things that I think that I would want personally. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope it was helpful. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and make sure your notifications are on. See you soon.